With the majority of consumers preferring SUVs and crossovers, there are very few sedans available in our market locally. And the ones that are available are used primarily by e-hailing services. But today, I've got a vehicle that promises to be a very affordable alternative compared to the likes of the Kia Pegasus, the VW Polo sedan, and the Nissan Almera. Behind me, you see the all-new Proton Saga. This is the third Proton that we've seen since they've launched in South Africa again, and quite recently we drove the X50 and the X70, both very visually aesthetically pleasing cars. If you look at this, however, it's a completely different ball game. This car is very basic compared to those cars, but we need to remember that it's aimed at a completely different market. What I do like about the design of this vehicle, my favorite bit I'd say is the front bumper, which does borrow design elements from other brands. But at the end of the day, it's still, I wouldn't say pretty. One of the most important elements of a vehicle such as this is boot space, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of airport runs and pickups. And if you look, there is 420 liters available, which is very decent if you ask me. But if you look a bit closer, you'll notice that there are a few nuts and bolts that are exposed. And if you listen, you can see that, again, it's very basic inside here. Another crucial element for a vehicle such as this is back seat occupant space. And as you can see, my legroom isn't too bad, but if I was a bit taller, it could be snug. Same goes for headroom, not bad, but again, if I was a bit taller, it would be a bit tight. What I do have, however, is two USB ports, which is crucial for a vehicle that is going to be used in this application. And you do have a cup holder here. There are no aircon vents at the back, but again, this is a basic car. For e-hailing, however, I think it could work. Up front, the basic theme continues with hard plastics everywhere. As you can hear, this is the middle spec variant, so we don't have a touchscreen infotainment system. Instead, we've got a normal display with a Bluetooth radio, and we don't have multifunction steering wheel, something that is available on the upper spec. What we do have, however, is a USB port here so that you can charge, and we've also got full electric windows. But besides that, it's basically quite a simple vehicle, should I say. So I must say, having the privilege of driving very fancy vehicles, it's quite refreshing to drive something that is very basic. But the trick for me is, it doesn't matter if it's basic or not, it still needs to drive well. And I'm happy to report that doing the daily commute in this car isn't very bad. And in fact, even on the highway, the road holding of this vehicle isn't bad at all. You've got one manual available and two automatics. This is the standard automatic. So it uses a 4-speed automatic gearbox, and it's got the conventional torque converter setup. The torque converter works very quickly, so it can catch you out. If you're driving and you're kind of creeping in traffic, you can find yourself kind of pushing forward quite quickly. So you just need to modulate your brakes so that everything stays intact. But overall, this vehicle, it's an honest car, I must say, and for a vehicle that is going to be used for e-hailing, or if somebody wants a very affordable sedan, it can work. Power-wise, we have a 1.3-litre 4-cylinder normally aspirated engine that produces 70 kilowatts and 120 Newton meters. And again, it's not overly slow. You don't expect a vehicle like this to be performance heavy at all. The gearbox, however, is a bit lazy when you're driving day to day, so you do find yourself having to use the kick-down switch to activate a lower gear. But once you get going, the vehicle does happily sit at 100 kilometers an hour with ease. Of course, another important element in a car like this is safety. You do have 2 airbags, you've got ABS and you've got EBD, and interestingly, I noticed that there was a small button here for traction control. So if you felt the need to do so, you could switch off traction control. I don't know for what purpose in a car like this, but it is there. It's good to know that you do have a safety net should anything go wrong. And lastly, fuel economy is a very important aspect, again, for a car like this. Proton says that this vehicle should average 7 liters per 100 kilometers, and I'm currently sitting at 7.7, and I've been doing mainly in-town driving and not a lot of highway driving, so I'm sure we should get this car to the 7-liter mark should we really try to do so. So is the new Proton Saga the pick of the bunch in the e-hailing space? Personally, I think it's too early to tell. Of course, its biggest selling point is the price, as this model comes in at just under 225,000 Rand, and the range as a whole starts off at just over 200,000 Rand. The age-old saying remains true: you get what you pay for.